So I finished Judy Blume when I was a child. I absolutely loved her books. So I'm revisiting reading novels that I haven't read before, and this one is Blubber. My rating, because I like to give it up front, don't want to have you guys wait to the end. 5 out of 5. My first 5 out of 5 book for 2025. This was brutal. It's about young kids bullying. And I believe this was written in the 80s, but this was brutal. It's about our main character, Jill, and I think she's popular, but she has her best friend, Tracy, and her moral compass. She knows what's right, but she has this really nonchalant attitude. She wants to be part of the group, but then part of her doesn't really care, but then another part of her does care. I guess that's how it feels when you're a young adolescent. I'm not an adolescent anymore. I haven't been for many, many, many years. But this poor girl, Linda, is the focus of the school bullying, and it's emotional and physical. And the things they do to this child is frightening. But when things change, it also shows the mob mentality of how people just don't want to be the one that gets picked on, and people don't really stand up for each other, really. So anyway, it starts out with everybody in school. Everybody's doing like a presentation of an animal. And Linda, I guess she's a little big boned, does her report on whales. And she was talking about blubber and how it protects, it's an essential part of the animal, right? But unfortunately, kids are cruel. They picked up that blubber and started chanting it and gave her that nickname, Blubber. But the other kids, kind of like the ringleader of meanness, obviously it's a girl. Her name is Wendy, and she's ruthless. She is mean, and she has her little cronies around her. She has this young lady named Caroline, and Caroline's just a yes man, does whatever she wants to mimic. So basically, after Linda gives her report, Jill, our main character, thought it was a great idea to kind of run with this because she wants Wendy to stay on Wendy's good side, I guess, to be the person that cuts off the blubber for Halloween. So she has this big sign and just poking fun of this Linda girl. And she's the main focus of the bullying for most of the book, like 75%, 85% of the book. They call her names, they trip her, they throw her books, they won't let her go to the bathroom, they hold her hands, lift up her skirt so her underpants are shown to young men. They make her kiss people. They make her say derogatory things about her. So let's get back to the costume because it was around Halloween. Jill and her best friend Tracy went trick-or-treating. And I guess it was a mean man on the neighborhood, Mr. Machinist, and they decided to put rotten eggs in his mailbox to teach him a lesson. But they wore sheets over their face, so he has a thing of taking pictures of people vandalizing his property, usually kids, and he reaches out to the parents. He's the only adult that holds any of these kids to accountability. All the other adults, the teacher is useless, Jill's parents are useless, Tracy's parents there's no because at the end, Jill and Tracy get caught, and they have to pay their dues, and their punishment is raking leaves. But Jill says herself, he deserved it. I don't feel bad about it, but I guess I'll do this because you guys told me to. There's no remorse. She doesn't care. She still feels that there's no punishment and there's no accountability. That piece of the puzzle is missing. So her and Tracy are trying to figure out who, and her best friend is Chinese American, and what's so weird, her friend went through bullying about her race. And Jill stood up for her, which is kind of weird because she doesn't apply that to Linda with her physical appearance, because she says Linda has a great tooth and she's big and she's very, very, very body shaming. But so they're trying to figure out who told Mr. Machinist that they put the rotten eggs in his mailbox, and they automatically assumed, well, Jill did, that it was Linda, right? And Tracy, her best friend's kind of sitting back. She's like, because during the Halloween tryst, Caroline, Donna, and Wendy was there. So Tracy was using some critical thinking, like, well, how do you know it was her? So they came up with this really grand plan that they're going to put her on trial. So during lunchtime, they eat in their classroom, and the teacher leaves. And there's a hall monitor, but the hall monitor doesn't stay with them all the time. It walks through the halls to look at the other classes. So as the hall monitor leaves, they grab this little girl, stuffs her in a supply closet, and lock her in. And Wendy says she's going to be a judge because she's a good judge. Okay. And then Jill said, well, I'll be the attorney. And then Donna kind of speaking up, she's like, well, this is not a real trial, because doesn't Linda, the girl you're accusing, needs an attorney? And Jill, because I guess we learned that her dad is an attorney through this, she's like, oh yeah, you're right. We have to have, each person has to have a judge to represent them. And Wendy's like, no judge, we're just going to judge her. And Jill kind of stood up with her because she thinks in black and white. She's like, no, that's not right. She didn't do it for Linda, right? She did it because she knew, well, my dad's an attorney, and this is the right way to do his job. And if we're not going to do what my job that my dad does right, then there's no trial at all. So Wendy was pushed back, no, I'm not going to do it. So then Jill ran to the supply closet and told Linda to get out and that there's not going to be a trial. So Wendy was really pissed about that. It's like, you'll pay for this. So the next day, guess who the new target is? Linda. They call her baby something, whatever, making baby sounds and making fun of her, pushing her, knocking into the water fountain. Basically, she's getting the exact same bad treatment that Linda did. But this time around, Linda is in the in crew now. Now she's with Wendy and Caroline, and now she's participating in the bullying, right? So now she's part of the crew, and now she's enjoying that Linda is on the receiving end of the bullying. And Linda, not Linda, but Jill, that's different than Linda, is that she's very strong-willed and minded. So she's trying to brush it off, but it does get to her. So she went home crying, and her mom's like, how are you doing? Are you okay? And there's a line that I really like that the mom said. It's rough to be on the other side, isn't it? The mom doesn't do shit. But she did drop that dime, just like, hey, you treated her this way too. It's a mother freaker, isn't it? So I am proud to say that Jill stood up to Wendy, and it kind of ended like most things in adolescence does. Once you stand up to the bully and call them on their bullshit, they stop, right? So that's what happened, because she noticed, like during the school bus ride, that Caroline, the main crony for Wendy, was sitting in the seat by herself behind Wendy and now Linda. So Jill used that information to her advantage. And when they were arguing, she was like kind of pitting Caroline and Wendy's like, Caroline, you're not even in her in crew anymore. Linda basically replaced you. And yeah, Linda spoke up, was like, yeah, I'm her partner to go on this trip. And Wendy's like, you don't talk for me. But basically just spoke the truth. And the next day, everybody stopped calling her names, Jill. Unfortunately, Linda was back to where she was, sitting by herself. And then Wendy became good friends with Donna. This was 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It was cruel. Very cruel. But honest. Because that's how kids are. And the adults were atrocious. Besides Mr. Machinist. That he's the only adult that gave a shit and made these kids accountable. These kids were rotten. And in the end, Linda was too. Because all she wanted to be part of was the in crew. But in the end, we always all want to be accepted, right? No matter the cost. Appropriate for these times. Anytime, really.